Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Gila, a student of the University UTPL of Loja, and this is for the segment of language testing, the principles of language assessment. We need to know that the principles of language assessment are five and are practicality, reliability, validity, authenticity, and watchback. The first thing we need to know is what is an assessment. An assessment is one component of teaching and activities. By doing an assessment, teachers can hopefully gain information about every aspect of their students, especially their achievement. It's constructed by considering the principles of language assessment. We're going to see what is the first principle, that is practicality. This refers to the logistical, down-to-earth, administrative issues involving making, giving, and scoring assessment. These include cost, the amount of time it takes to construct and administer, case of scoring and case of interpreting and reporting the results. Practicality is not excessively expensive, stay with appropriate time constraints, is relatively easy to administer, and has a scoring evaluation procedure that is specific and time efficient. The second principle is reliability. It's defined as the probability that a product, system, or service will perform its intended function adequately for a specified period of time or will operate in a defined environment without a failure. A reliable test is consistent and dependable. The issue of reliability of a test be addressed by considering a number of factors that may contribute to reliability of a test. Consider the following possibilities like fluctuations in the student-related reliability in scoring, rated reliability in test administration, in the test reliability. The first, the student-related reliability. This kind of reliability refers to the temporary illness, fatigue, a bad day, anxiety, and other physical or psychological factors. In scoring, rather reliability, deal with the scoring process. Factors that affect the reliability might be human errors, subjectively, and bias in the scoring process. In test administration, the test administration concerns with conditions and situations in which the text is administered. To increase the degree of this kind of test, teachers as the administrators should consider all the things related to the test administration. In the test reliability refers to the test itself, whether the test fits into the time constraints. The next principle is validity, is the extent to which inferences made from assessment results are appropriate, meaningful, and useful for the purpose of the assessment. It is the most complicated, yet the most important principle. Validity can be measured using statistical correlation with other related measures. Another way of understanding content validity is to consider the difference between direct and indirect testing. Direct testing involves the test taker in actually performing the target task. In indirect test, learners are not performing the task itself, but rather a task that is related in some way. The next is authenticity. Bachman and Palmer define authenticity as the degree of correspondence of the characteristics of a given language test task to the features of a target language task. And they suggested an agenda for identifying those target language tasks and for transforming them into valid test items. An authentic test has the following attributes. Contains a language that is natural as possible, has items that are contextualized rather than isolated, includes a meaningful, relevant, interesting topics, and also provides some thematic organization to items, such as through a storyline or episode. Offer tasks that replicate real-world tasks. And the final one is watchback. This refers to the effects the texts have on instruction in terms of how students prepare for the test. It refers Brown and Abegui-Krama. It refers to the outcomes for the learner, to teacher, and the teaching context. Watchback can be positive or negative. Thus, the concept of watchback should comprise the following features: a test that provides beneficial watchback. Positively influence what and how teachers teach. Positive influences what and how learners learn. Offer learners a chance to adequately prepare. Gives learners feedback that enhances their language development. Is more formative in nature than summative, and provides conditions for peak performance by the learner. And also we have a case. A high school biology teacher frequently reads aloud a prepared biology related statement. Then he asks students to hold their hands under their chins and signify whether the statement is true or false by showing a thumbs up for true or a thumbs down for false. Depending on the number of students who respond incorrectly, the teacher may have students present arguments for both sides. He may pair students and ask them to discuss the concept further, or he may decide that he needs to present the same concept using a different representation or instructional approach. The analysis of this case. In this case, we can find the principle of authenticity because it's a task that can we work in a class. Besides, the activity is dealing with topics that the students already know. Practicality also appears when the teacher says an easy and practical statement. In this case, the students have to answer with a thumbs up for true and a thumbs up for false. And finally, the watchback because the teacher asks them to give their answers in and their own ideas. Give the students feedback according to the answer that given in a formative way and not in a summative way. That's my opinion about this. Thank you very much to all.